Talking with Kirk Douglas. We haven't been terribly personal tonight. Do you ever get really depressed, down, gloomy?
Sure. I think
Don't want to go outside.
I mean, isn't that a human process? I think everybody, you go through different periods of your life where you sort of take self-inventory,
Yeah.
and you wonder, what am I doing? Am I doing what I want to do? I think the person, really happiness in life really is doing the work that you want to do. And I think for someone to be working at what he wants to do is very fortunate. So in that way, I think that I'm more aware now how lucky I am than I used to be. I think a lot of things that I used to take for granted, I appreciate now. Because I think I'm lucky to have been able to do the thing that I want to do in life, and that is to make movies. I think it's a great contribution, because I think the greatest contribution of movie making is not the statement that a movie might make. It's fine for a movie to have a statement, but I don't think there's anything, Dick, more important than the fact that if you make a movie and for an hour and a half or 2 hours, millions of people all over the world are taken out of their problems. The reason a person goes to a movie is to forget the problems of their life. So if you permit them to forget their problems and get involved in what you're doing on the screen, I think that's the most important contribution. And I think that sometimes there's a tendency to be pretentious with movies and become too concerned with making a statement. I've been guilty of the same thing myself. That's why in Light at the Edge of the World, I wanted to make sheer entertainment. If it could entertain someone for 2 hours, I think that's great.
So you don't have any doubts about your life being misspent. Some actors say a man in the acting profession always wonders if it's a really manly profession. Should he be out engineering?
Well, it isn't a manly profession. It's a childish profession. You couldn't be a complete grown-up adult and be an actor. You have to have a childish part of you. I mean, after all, if I were a sophisticated adult, how could I say, here I am fighting evil represented by Yul Brynner? You have to have a childish part of you. It's true.
Or making a guy take his shirt off.
As
in
my
public.
kids have grown up, I've watched them, you know. Children are natural actors. They pretend they're cops and robbers. And I think all actors retain a certain amount of that within themselves. They have to, or they couldn't function as actors. And I think that's why they become self-denigrating. They think, well, it's not enough.
I get the feeling that you are capable of a terrific bad temper. All right. I see.
What
I
makes
was
you say that?
No, I do. I have that, and it's probably one of the many
I don't see
things.
that in you.
It's probably one of the many things that we have in common.
Well, I don't know that
I wondered if you're snappish. Can you get?
Yes, I think, as a matter of fact, that's been a healthy thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's given me a very pleasant reputation often, but I think it's been a good escape valve. I think very often I'm too quick to express myself in anger or whatever it might be. It's healthy for me because it lets the steam out, but very often if people don't understand it, you know, it doesn't create a very favorable impression.
After you blow up at somebody, do you feel sad?
Terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
I do too.
I bother about, what does he think? Why did I say this? What a bully I was.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. It's awful.
Yeah, I have that too. It's,
We have a lot in common, Dick.
Let's see. How much sleep do you need?
How much sleep do I need?
Yeah.
5-6 hours. We have nothing in common.
No, I can sleep literally round the clock. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one. No, I
time
don't
to
need.
time.
If I have 5, 6, 7 hours, would be a.
You read a newspaper every day?
Oh yes.
Do you?
Yes, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think actors are also concerned with what's going on in the world? Perhaps sometimes a little bit too concerned.
Some are, but I don't think they have to be. I mean, I don't think everybody has to be. I don't see why they should apologize if they don't, for example. I mean, some actors don't need to. They should just act or do what they want to do.
No, but you mean they don't read the paper? I mean, you're still a part of the world you live in. You don't divorce yourself from the world you live in. You're interested in knowing what's going on around you. I think everybody owes it themselves to be aware of the world they live in, to be a part of it.
Yeah.
No?
I think it's good if they do.
Again,
but
we don't have anything in
I don't
common.
insist on it. I mean, I think a man could just write poetry if he wanted to, and I wouldn't care if he ever read a paper or not.
Oh, I'm not concerned by that. I just think that they would be missing something by not being concerned with what's happening in the world. To just cut yourself off from the world would be, depriving yourself of your environment, so to speak.
I can see why an artist like Ingmar Bergman, for example, would say he just cuts himself off from all life the whole time he's making a film because he just wants that tunnel vision on his work.
Well, he may do that, sure. I can understand while you're making a film, you tend to block out the rest of the world. I understand that.
Yeah.
I think that happens to all of us. I think all actors tend to focus just on what they're doing, but that's just for a temporary period of time. Then you have to go back into the world you're living, no?
Yeah. What's the closest you ever were to death?
Well, as
Ever
a
had a
matter of
moment where you
fact,
thought, "This is it"?
I tell you very honestly,
Yeah.
it was in this picture, A Light at the Edge of the World. I'll tell you a very true story. We're shooting this picture. It has very sharp, jagged rocks all around. And in one scene, I did a stunt myself, and I thought I was being very careful. And I asked my stuntman to, I was up on top of a roof, and I had to jump down. So I put a platform below the roof, because the rocks were on the other side, and I put the stuntman there just to double check to brace me. It was in a rehearsal. I jumped off the roof onto the platform and went to him for support. He fell off. We both went right off the platform into the rocks. And I think, to me, I was very fortunate because the rocks there, if just have hit one jagged rock, it was about a 15, 18-foot fall, you could easily split your head open. And I think that accidents, you know, when accidents happen in pictures very often, it's usually a silly thing. It's something that you never anticipated. And I try to anticipate. People very often say, I got a nose for danger. People very often say, Kirk, how does this smell? Because I think I don't do things stupidly. I've done lots of my own stunts, but I try to work everything out carefully.
But that one
In the
shows you
scene
that-
with Woody Strode, I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't confident in Woody. I knew that we could both work together.
Spartacus scene.
Yes.
Yeah.